on what you can expect tonight, Erika.
Yeah, so it's rain initially right now, but the later we get into the overnight hours, officially ringing in the new year, the more you're going to see a little bit of this snow. And that's what's going to stick with us for the next several days. On top of it, you have wind, much colder air, and that's why we have a string of 19 first alert weather days going into effect tomorrow, but lasting through Saturday. And that's just because of the bigger impacts we expect out of this system. Again, all of this is rain right now, but we do have colder air that's starting to crash in, and you're starting to see, if you look at our far western counties, where we're getting a little bit of that mixing occurring, and that will eventually become a bit more widespread across the area. So as you're headed out and about to enjoy, of course, your New Year's Eve, make sure you've got some winter weather gear in the car just in case, because I do think we're going to see that bigger transition the later we get into tonight. Temperatures, though, right now, overall not bad. Mansfield, you're down to 41. You see New Philly's at 47, Sandusky 37, Akron right now you're checking in at 45, Cleveland 46. So you can see where that colder air is starting to bleed into northeast Ohio. So I would say for the next couple of hours or so, it's still going to be relatively mild, but the closer we get to ringing in the new year, the more we're going to start seeing a lot more of those 30s on the board. And that does mean we are going to be dealing with a little bit more of that wintry mix. So that is your new year forecast, especially as we ring it in just after midnight. Temperatures near 37 and a bit of that wintry weather starting to become a bit more apparent. We will walk you through what you can expect hour by hour coming up in just a few minutes. Well, if you are going to be traveling, say, along parts of the Ohio Turnpike as we go through the day tomorrow, you may want to just kind of be alerted to some slowdowns. We've got some lake effect snow that's eventually going to take over through the early hours of your Wednesday, and that could, of course, lead us to some slick spots across parts of northeast Ohio, especially where we get some of those more persistent squalls to set up and kind of dump a little bit more of those higher snowfall totals in spots. On top of which, it's going to be windy the next several days. That, if it's coming down at a heavier clip, certainly with the snow, you're going to see reductions in visibility, some slushy accumulation. So please just kind of heed that warning now, especially if you're going to be out and about over the next several days. We have lake effect snow warnings in effect, Cuyahoga, Lake Geauga, as well as the inland portion of Ashtabula County. You'll notice the lakeshore portion of Ashtabula County under that winter weather advisory. Why the difference here? That's because of how we expect some of these lake effect snow bands to be oriented as we go through the next about 24 hours or so. You'll see these alerts are in effect 7 o'clock tomorrow morning through 7 p.m. on your Thursday. And it's all the lake effect that's going to be generated after this area of low pressure passes through. So this has been the culprit for all the rain that we've seen through the day today. That will continue to slide off towards the east. I know right now we're certainly dealing with some of the heavier downpours. Eastern Summit County, across parts of Stark County, western Portage County now going to start seeing that rain rate pick up a little bit more. But as colder air starts to clash in, you're going to start seeing more of this changeover to some of those snow showers. And that's really going to be the dominating theme headed into the rest of tonight. Basically right now, if you're traveling through, say, again, areas east of Akron down towards the Alliance area, New Franklin, Brown, out towards Augusta, just keep in mind that rain may slow you down, at least in the short term, before we eventually begin that transition over to some of that snow. You can see us ringing in the new year, temperatures into the upper 30s. You get that rain-snow mix. It's also going to be windy. Northwest winds sustained about 22 miles per hour, but you could gust overnight tonight upwards of 40 miles per hour. So again, please just use caution if you are going to be spending some time out on the roads through late tonight, through early tomorrow. Daytime highs tomorrow don't improve a ton. We're going to stay into about the mid-30s, so it's not a huge jump in your temperature, mainly because of just how active this pattern's going to be. The wind actually helping you to keep that temperature a little on the warmer side. You'll see your future view through the rest of tonight. We get that transition over to some wet, slushy snow through the early hours of January 1st. Then we get more of that lake enhancement going as we go through the day tomorrow, and that's going to be your biggest battle throughout the area. It's really where those lake effect snow bands set up that you're going to see some of the bigger impacts. I think lake effect is going to be the big story headed into tomorrow as well as Thursday. Then we get system snow that comes in on Friday. Doesn't look to bring a ton in terms of accumulation, but it will help to kick up once again more of that lake effect to begin the weekend. And then you start solidifying more of that Arctic air into early next week. And we may even get colder beyond next Tuesday. That is something we are going to be watching very closely, and of course bring you all the latest updates on First Alert Focus.